My name is William Martinez. I am a lending assistant, customer service representative for Happy State Bank. The most I love is working with people, and I think that we as a bank, we do that. I think that's our culture. I think they go out and find those individuals that love to interact with individuals and love the conversation and love working and helping out and solving those problems that our customers can have. And I think that the culture, the helpfulness, I think that's what sets us apart.
Next is a presentation by Marcus Norris, our city attorney, on Open Meetings Act, review of the Traffic Commission's scope of duties.
Introduce Mr. Marcus. Taylor and Sharon. Some years ago, the city of Amarillo made a very significant policy decision. The city of Amarillo decided that all of its boards and committees will comply with the Texas Open Meetings Act. There is a provision in that law, which some cities utilize, that says if a committee is merely an advisory body, it is not required to comply with that act. However, it becomes confusing to staff, and it certainly becomes confusing to the community to try to understand which list of committees are following the open meetings laws and which ones are not, which ones are exempt. And I don't know if it's Mr. Stiff or Mr. Ward, is Mayor Seliger or his predecessor, but the decision was made that we're going to keep it simple and we're going to have open government in Amarillo, and we will follow the Open Meetings Act. Therefore, it's important today for me to spend a few minutes with you. I understand we may have some new members on the board, or it's just time for an annual, biannual refresher. I have a paper I will leave with you before I leave. I know some people learn things hearing it, other people learn things reading it, and we're going to hit you with both barrels today, letting you hear it and then read it. I did not bring with me my open meetings notebook. That's just about how big it is. I have boiled it down, though, from that to about 6 points. And because in my experience, as I read the court cases, as I read the Texas Attorney General opinions, when you read the newspapers around the state and see how public bodies get in trouble under this law, you can boil it down to about 6 areas of error. And if you can avoid these 6 errors, then you will avoid 95% of the problems under the Open Meetings Act. So, without further ado, let me run through 6 points. Excuse me. We begin with a simple definition of what is a meeting. Since this is the Open Meetings Act, what is a meeting? Both the statute and subsequent opinions by the Texas Attorney General liberally construe that definition. A meeting occurs anytime a quorum of this body comes together in one place and discusses city traffic. It's nothing more, it's nothing less than that. So is this your full committee? 3, 5, or 7 of you on the committee. A quorum for your committee is 4. So anytime 4 or more of you are together, any place, any time, discussing city traffic business, you're having a meeting. And the next question is it a lawful meeting or not? A lawful meeting must be preceded by 72 hours public notice. That notice must be posted in a place that is accessible to the public 24 hours a day. How do we do that in Amarillo? If you'll notice at the front door, there's a kiosk on the front porch behind the plate glass window, and all of our meeting notices are there. 24 hours a day, the public can come and read the meeting notices. Of course, in this electronic age, we also post them on our internet site. Now let's go back to that meeting, and let me make sure you're on fair notice. The Texas Attorney General has said, literally anywhere, anytime there's a quorum. That means at the Dairy Queen, the back booth. That means in a Suburban, going from here to Dallas. That means in cyberspace, if you hit a reply to all 4 or more members. It means on Facebook if you're exchanging postings. It means in text messages. In cyberspace, you can't have a meeting that violates the Open Meetings Act. Because how is the public going to be able to see and observe you doing the public's business when it's just a reply to all email amongst 4 or 5 of you? Do you see the problem? The Attorney General says the Open Meetings Act means what it says. It's the Open Meetings Act where the public can come in and watch the business of government occur. And if the business of government has moved from the smoke-filled back room to cyberspace, then we still don't have open government. So be very aware of reply to all. In fact, don't even use that if it's a city-related email. If Mr. Rice or Mr. Withrow send you an email telling you there's going to be a meeting and this subject and that subject will be on the agenda, do not hit a reply to all and say, listen, I want to know this and that, I think we ought to do this, and someone else gets reply to all. You're having a meeting. The quorum of you are now discussing traffic. So be very aware of how that can sneak up on you. There is an important exception, a social function exception. If you were to all, or a quorum of you were to end up at the same social event, a wedding, a funeral, a soccer game, and some incidental mention of traffic business were to come up, and you let it go, the Attorney General has said that is not a violation of the Open Meetings Act. It's a social function.
Is it okay, though, if we hit reply all just to let the others know we're going to be at the meeting? You know, just like when Jimmy sends out notice of status.
Great question. That is not a problem because you're not really discussing traffic business. Right. You're just indicating your schedule and availability for the meeting. It's a very good clarification. I mentioned the notice. It has to be posted at least 72 hours in advance for a legal meeting to occur. That notice must specify the date, the time, and the place of your meeting, as well as the topics that will be covered in your meeting. Once that notice goes up, that is your agenda. You are not allowed by law to discuss other topics, stray topics we call them, that come up. You are bound by the published agenda. You can only discuss the topics stated on the posted agenda. Well, let's be practical, Morris. Sometimes a stray topic comes up and it's really something pretty good we ought to talk about. Okay? The law recognizes that, and it says you can do 3 things when a stray topic comes up. And the stray topic may come up from one of your own members. It may come up from a member of the public who brings up the subject on your agenda. The Attorney General has ruled that you can do this with a stray topic. You can discuss whether to place it on a future agenda. So you're really not discussing the issue itself. You're discussing, yes, maybe this does deserve being on a future agenda. No, it doesn't. You can discuss that. The second thing you can do with a stray topic may be something for which you can simply refer the person to city staff. And the third thing you can do is it may be appropriate to respond with a statement of fact or of policy. And that's it. I'll give you my favorite example. It doesn't really apply to you. It would happen more likely in a city commission meeting. A citizen comes to this microphone and she says, I want to complain that my garbage did not get picked up last Thursday, and I want to know what you're going to do about it. It would be perfectly appropriate for the mayor to respond with a statement of fact. Mrs. Jones, I'm sorry your trash did not get picked up, but you will recall that we had 10 inches of snow last Monday and Tuesday. That's a statement of fact. And our policy, Mrs. Jones, we do not send the garbage trucks down the alleys and risk them hitting obstacles and gas meters when we can't see the ground because of snow. There's an example of using a statement of fact or a statement of policy. It would then be inappropriate for the mayor or any other city commissioner to then begin to engage in a general conversation about our solid waste policies, procedures for snow days. You're not allowed to deliberate a stray topic. When a stray topic comes up, you're limited to deciding whether to place it on a future agenda, referring it to staff, or responding with a statement of fact or policy. So we've covered 3 points of the 6. I'm about halfway through. We've gone over what is a meeting. It can occur anytime, anywhere, when a quorum or greater discusses traffic business, social function exception. We discussed the fact that a legal meeting must be preceded by 72 hours notice that includes the topics you're going to discuss. You may discuss only those topics on your posted agenda. Here's the 4th point. The Open Meetings Act requires that all final decisions, all votes, must occur here in a public meeting. There's indications that you're meeting for lunch, before the meeting, and going through your agenda and hashing things out, making decisions there, you are in violation of the law. 5thly, the Open Meetings Act does allow for an executive or closed session under certain specific exceptions to the Open Meetings Act. Because you are an advisory body on traffic issues, it would be very rare that you would probably have any need to go into an executive session. It's just hard to fathom. But just for your information, an example of the kinds of things for which governmental bodies may go into closed session to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real estate, to discuss personnel action. You don't have any personnel, but that's another common one that some governmental bodies rely on. Obtaining legal advice, attorney-client privilege, confer with your attorney. That might be the closest one you might need to do sometime if you were needing sensitive legal advice, not just general legal information. The 6th and final point, the Open Meetings Act requires that minutes be kept and/or tape recording. You don't have to have both. The custom in Amarillo is to tape record, or I guess it's not tape anymore. We disc record, electronically record, and then prepare written minutes. We're then allowed to destroy that electronic recording after so many days. I believe it's 90 days. I have to look at that. Once those written minutes are officially approved. Well, that's my quick 12-minute presentation or so. I'll pause now. Do you have any questions? Has this raised any questions or concerns? Yes.
What are the requirements for you to get online? I have that sheet out.
One of the papers in the packet I will hand out to you, on the 2nd page, it says statutorily required training for Texas Open Meetings Act. I think my law degree is as good as the Attorney General's, but the Texas Legislature doesn't think so. For you to be officially and absolutely trained on the Open Meetings Act, you must get your training through the Texas Attorney General's website. I've given you a screenshot, some instructions on how to find that. It is about a 57-minute long video on the Texas Open Meetings. At the end of that video, there will be a code number. Write it down. Go back to this entry page, and one of the selections is print your certificate of completion. You click on that one, you put in the code name, code number, your name, and you can then print out on your home printer or your office printer a certificate of completion. Please turn that in to Ms. Alexander so that we have documentation that you've done this. But we know that it can be sometimes take committee members a little while to get to doing that. That's why we don't sugarcoat and give you the legal education that you need so you do not violate the law. And perhaps I should close, that should be the seventh point of my presentation. So what? What if you do violate it? Well, it's pretty clear. Number one, any action you take in violation is void. You just wasted everybody's time. I'm going to have to go back and redo it. Secondly, there are criminal penalties. Serving on the city board, you are largely immune from most forms of liability. However, you can be prosecuted by the district attorney for violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act. It is a misdemeanor offense that bears a penalty of up to 6 months in jail. And again, I apologize, my memory's slipping. I think it's up to a $2,000 fine or both. Yes, people have been prosecuted for it here in Texas. So there is some very personal motivation here for you to watch your conduct. Government committees are not like private corporations where you can just get the boys and girls in the back room, close the door, and hash it out. That works fine in business. It's very efficient, unfortunately. But perhaps fortunately, in America, our government is not like that. The other items in this packet, the first page of those 6 points I spoke from. The second page, it shows you what that is. That's the information to go to the Attorney General's website to watch a 57-minute video. Some people like a lot more detail. I've attached another 4 or 5 pages and a question and answer format that goes further into the weeds. And if you really want to get into the weeds, come by. I'll loan you my notebook on the subject. Are there any other questions?
I have a comment. I'd like to offer you here congratulations on your new appointment. You're welcome.
Just, if I may, Madam Chairman, there was one other topic the city manager wanted me to just briefly touch on, and that is the scope of the committee's work. I believe all of you should have received the advisory board members' handbook. That was likely familiar. If not, I'll get you a copy of the page that describes the scope of work of the Traffic Commission. Not surprisingly, it's all things traffic. I think what we wanted to assure you of, your mandate does not require you to self-generate traffic issues. There are some matters which by city ordinance are mandated to be brought to you, and the city staff will be bringing those to you on a regular basis. There may be special assignments that the City Commission desires your input on. You are an advisory committee, and they will send those tasks through staff to say, we request the Traffic Commission review a certain topic and make a recommendation on it. The risk of you, if you were to begin to self-generate topics, is that you will stir up some topic that perhaps the City Commission is not prepared to address. Well, I may choose not to address at this moment. They are, after all, our elected leaders, and we follow their leadership. And so, do not ever feel compelled like you're not doing your job if you're not seeking out new traffic issues. You will please take your lead from city staff, who will take their lead from the city manager's office, from the mayor's office. Just a point you might consider, Madam Chairman, we have another advisory board that used to meet monthly, and it became apparent that, at least for the current era, there's not a great deal for that committee to do. And so instead of meeting monthly, they moved that to just being quarterly, and they have a nice agenda each quarter. There are things for them to consider. It really would be worth trying to get them all together monthly, just to give them a lack of business. This committee is a little bit busier than the other one I have in mind, but that's just a management technique you may keep in mind. You've got necessary to better manage everyone's time, just meet every other month, quarterly, if you run into a work challenge.
Thank you very much.
I have a few questions
Yes, sir.
in regards to our scope of work generating issues. If an individual citizen comes forward to the board and has a question in regards to if it's a stop sign or a four-way stop or a speed limit or a pedestrian right-of-way, do we not have the ability nor the authority to put that on the agenda to allow this board to discuss that?
The citizen self-generates that. I think that you, an appropriate response would be to say, thank you, we'll take that under advisement. And then you do precisely that. The chairman gets with your staff liaison, and then get the city management, just let them know that the concern has been raised and seek plans for management.
So if a citizen has an issue in regards to any of those items, he doesn't come talk to one of the members of the traffic commission. It's his own, if he calls the traffic engineering department and he is not getting any type of resolution to his matter, it is only phone calls into the city manager, and which will direct the city engineer to put it on the agenda or not, or does that person then have to go directly to the citizen to the city commissioner standard?
When any citizen has a problem with any city employee, the correct procedure is to go through the chain of command. So you have the engineer, the director of public works, an assistant city manager, or the city. So there's plenty of recourse there.
Well, it's not about a particular individual, but you say it's an extra right-of-way for a crosswalk. If you're told you're supposed to bring it before the city traffic commission, and then it's not resolved, that means it's not unwilling to be discussed before the commission, is your next move then to contact the city manager, or do you contact the mayor?
No, you can contact the city manager. Because again, it all centers around staff. Your staff is your liaison. In fact, that's the title, liaison. He is your liaison to city management, to the city commission. And so,
but if you have an advisory board, correct, and your job is to advise the city staff, or I mean, you bring items to us, we advise, send our recommendations on the staff, or send our recommendations on the city commission to approve or disapprove them. But how I'm listening to you is, and I could be incorrect, but we are now not allowed to bring anything as a suggestion to the city. We only take suggestions of what the city brings to us.
if you have suggestions, your key is to go through staff. So you will take it to Mr. Withrow or Mr. Rice, confer with him. It's a team effort. Here's something that's come up. Is there something going on that we don't know about? There may be another city department involved in some tangential way. The key is to work with your city staff. They should be informed, not they will get informed, through the city manager's office and or conferring with the mayor. You can work back through the system with you. We just can't have 7 members going different directions. Well, this one's talked to the mayor already. Well, this one's with the city manager. Well, this one's talked to Mr. Rice. This one doesn't know what's going on. This citizen's been calling 3 different people at City Hall. That's no way to run a ship. I think you would agree. And so the way we try to direct that energy is it's brought to you, and it's not already something the city staff has brought to you. The citizen brings it to you, tell them, we will take that under advisement. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. And then you do just that. You take it under advisement by meeting the city staff, and they will hopefully determine properly the priority to be assigned to that issue. In a city of almost 200,000 people, not everything can be a first priority handled next Tuesday. They will prioritize it. They will work through appropriate channels of city management. and then we'll get back with you at your next meeting. We don't want to have the illegal meeting by sending all kinds of emails, people start responding. They'll get back with you in due time. The process will go forward. But there are people, as you know, as you've experienced, there are people in the community who have their own agenda, and they don't care how it fits with the city budget. They don't care what the city's timeline is for it. But they're not our elected leaders, and we cannot let them go in and run on the city council by coming through you and you self-generating, taking up an issue, stirring up a controversy in the community, which may not fit at all with some broader timeline and orderly process that's already been set up that you're not aware of, and you become used as a political pawn. That's not what you want to be. That's not what we want you to be. And so that's why we're trying to give you some guidance. That gives you a little more, what shall I say, you can hold your chin up and tell that citizen, thank you. You don't have to cater to their personal agenda. Be receptive. They may have very good points. We want to listen. But then there's an orderly process for reviewing that. It's not just a knee-jerk, great, we'll be on the agenda next month. It's just not that much of a jerk. Does that help?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, great, good.
Anyone else? Any more comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay, next is traffic engineering study of the four-way stop at Baltimore and Gainesboro.
Madam Chair, if I could.
To replace the election of chairman and vice chairman. Take care of that now.
Do you want to do it now? Okay.
It's your call, I'm suggesting.
Do we have any nominations for chairman and vice chairman of these committees?
I nominate DJ Stephen to be the chairperson.
Second.
I'll go along with that.
You agree to serve.
Pardon?
You agree to serve.
Yes, sir, I agree, sir. Anybody else want to do it? Okay, then we need a vice chairman, please.
We have. Want to go ahead and vote on the motion?
Okay, I thought we did a vote at the same time.
I would nominate Bob Elliott to be the vice chair.
Second.
Thanks, Seth.
Okay, okay. We have DJ Steuben as chairman and Bob Vallier as vice chairman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it carries. Thank you.
Ready for minutes?
Yes, sir.
Next item on the agenda is a four-way stop proposal at Walnut, Gainesboro. Traffic Engineering Department received a petition from residents in the vicinity of Walnut and Gainesboro to make the intersection a four-way stop. Currently, Gainesboro stops for Walnut. Petitioners feel the four-way stop would control traffic speeds on Walnut. Existing stop signs are placed east-west on Gainesboro, which is the old Lime Street, or the lower Lime Street. Waldorf is a residential collector street that carries approximately 1,500 vehicles per day. Gainesboro carries approximately 650 vehicles per day. There have been 2 reported traffic collisions at the intersection in the last 3 years. Both collisions involved vehicles on Gainesboro failing to yield to traffic on Waldorf. 85th percentile speed on Waldorf is 34 miles per hour. This means that 85% of the drivers on Waldorf are traveling at or below 34 miles per hour. The closest speed limit is 30. The decision to install a four-way stop is governed by a set of warrants same as we do for traffic signals. Set of warrants are established by the Federal Highway Administration, endorsed by the Texas Department of Transportation. We did conduct that study. Results indicated that none of the warrants for a four-way stop was met. As a result, we told the person that was asking for the four-way stop to do a petition in compliance with the neighborhood traffic assistance policy, which they did. We also, as part of the neighborhood traffic assistance policy, send out notification to all residences and all property owners within 1,000 feet of the proposed four-way stop. In the first round, 175 notices were sent out. We received 9 against, 1 in favor. As you remember that meeting, we failed to have a quorum. We've sent out the second round of 175 letters to the same residents. This time we received 5 against and 1 in favor. The Traffic Engineering Department recommends that the four-way stop not be placed at Walnut and Gainesville.
Okay, I think we have some citizens here that will make some comments. Who wants to come up first? And when you come up, please state your name and your address, and try to keep it on a brief notice if you can, please. And also, we have air conditioning going, so speak in the microphone.
Sure.
Thank you.
My name is Kyle McMillan, 7119 Gainsborough. I'm the one who contacted Mr. Westbrook in the traffic department about this four-way stop issue. Read your recommendations here. The top paragraph about the number of accidents. I don't know how correct that is. We'll let that stand. A couple of questions, if I might ask. During the surveys that I saw, where you guys put out your hoses across the street, the trip lines for the counts and all that, I never saw any equipment with speed recording devices. How on earth did you determine that the speed is 34 miles an hour?
We use the vehicle magnetic imaging device. It's a little plate you set in the roadway and the car runs it over.
Okay. I'll have to take your word for that. A couple of interesting stats you got down here to the bottom. Four-way stops are not effective as speed control devices. Right now, you got it up on your screen there. There's quite a few folks that seem to think that the word Waldorf starts with a C as in Coulter. And as such, they use Waldorf as a bypass of Coulter to avoid a street that has a high traffic volume to make their way to I-40 through the neighborhood, which is entirely proper. I mean, they can't stop that. But they also do so at unlike what the document says here, what I personally witnessed as I live on the corner, they do so at a speed limit, they do so at a speed of way above 30 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And I would invite folks to come by for a personal visit in the front yard with me. We can make our own little determinations there. Bullet 3. This is great. 6,420 gallons of gas be wasted annually. Where did that statistic come from?
A study that was conducted in the 90s by a traffic engineer out of Georgia.
Okay, so 90s. Okay, so immediately that data is flawed because of the fact that vehicles have been modified, fuel injection, electronic ignition. You get considerably better mileage now, so I would say that's probably a bit of a bogus number there. Unless he was to stand there and actually dialogue each vehicle that came by and look at the cafe standard for each of those vehicles. I find that a challenging document there, or stat there. And number 4, the operating cost. I'm sure that number was drug out of the air based off the gallons, and I'm assuming what was the price per gallon?
Yep, I'm sure it's higher now.
Okay, I'll ask you this basic question. If you're concerned here at bullets 3, 4, and 5, we're concerned about travel costs, how come when I go to work each morning and I travel south down Collier, I have to stop at all 3 traffic lights on my way to work, and likewise coming home, I stop at all 3 traffic lights. There's not a major north-south thoroughfare in this town that has coordinated lines. If this is such a high-stress issue, and this is such a valiant thing we're ready to fall on the sword for, fix the flipping lines. But let's take this as a bigger issue. I want the 4-way stop because of safety in my neighborhood. I could give a flip about these people who have to stop there. Darn, what a shame. We happen to have children in the neighborhood. We happen to have people that get out and walk with their dogs and their animals and whatever they want to do. They should not be subject to people who consciously violate the posted speed limit. It happens every damn day. How would you recommend slowing these folks down? It says a 4-way stop is not effective with the speed control device. Give me your answer. How are we going to control that? I know your stats say it's not a problem. I say that's a lie. How would you stop that? Please tell me. I'd love to know.
Man, that's a good question, and maybe maybe we can refer to staff.
Yes, sir.
On Waldorf here, how many in this, say, 1,000-foot notice going north and south, how many stop signs are along, say, Calumet, Jameson, and Gainesboro? How many stop signs are going from north to south? Because that's the traffic that we want to slow down, correct?
That's correct. No stop traffic doesn't go north.
We have stop signs that all over the Calumet, all over
I'm sorry, if you're
all
loud.
over the South Furlong, and all over the Calumet.
Those are just they're not 4-way stops, so are they?
But we do have precedents of 4-way stops in our neighborhood. There are 2 that I can think of on Calumet. If not more, those are the 2 I can really think of. Precedent is there for a 4-way stop. It is not uncommon. It's not unusual.
I was doing the exact same thing that you said. I was just trying to get around all those stoplights. I was trying to remember in my head how many stop signs are along there to slow someone down.
On Waldorf, there's one in the north-south run on Waldorf. Yeah. Okay, one final comment and I'll sit down. We know from experience in this town that there have been various traffic control devices placed, bridges. Things have been done in extreme conditions. It's usually motivated as soon as we kill. Is that what you need? We need a kid run. We need somebody to jog around. What is that? I don't want that to happen. I try to make my neighborhood safe. I'm not worried about any inconveniencing somebody on the way to work. Gosh, I need to get 85 in this street. That is county clean. Can't hurt anybody in the way to stop it. I would encourage you to come over. Let the Christmas shopping season starts right after November. Come sit with me in the easy chair in the front yard and let's look at the near misses that occur and the times that people come within inches of some really nasty stuff. I would encourage you to really strongly consider this. It's not an inconvenience of safety benefit in the neighborhood. I think there's far more benefits far outweigh the benefits.
I appreciate your time on coming down here too. Thank you on time for Thank you. My name is Mary Campbell, and I live in 7114 Calumet. We lived here for 20 years, and we have not always had stop signs all over the Calumet. We live on the corner. I have had at least 3 vehicles in my front yard crashes at Waldorf and Calumet before we had stop signs. One of them was a very serious accident within 20 feet coming into the house. Another one was an elderly woman that had a major stick fracture in her arm. We had the same problem with the Amarillo.
Calumet at one time was a street that had no stop sign. It was just a freeway to the mall. And we did the same thing with additions. And we got a stop sign. It's not a four-way stop sign. On Walmart, on each side of Walmart. People come racing down Walmart, I would say at 40 miles an hour to get to the interstate. And it stopped when we got our stop sign. We had not had an accident since we got our stop sign. Until we did, it was the most dangerous street in Belmar. Our garage backs up and backs out onto Walmart. And it's very treacherous because Walmart is the conduit to the interstate. And I guess when we got our stop sign, the traffic transfers to this way. I recommend it absolutely. I don't know how many accidents I've had, but I've had 2-3 people in my front yard from collisions at Walmart. It's very dangerous. There's a lot of children around there. People do walk their dog. I highly recommend it because somebody's going to get killed. Somebody is going to get killed or hurt very bad. I have to call 911 and I wouldn't recommend it. So all that traffic's happening. And I don't care how many test strips on the street, on how fast people are going fast. And I've been down against the road, and they do go fast. They go really fast at the train next to them. But the people on Waldorf now are stopped because it's not coming. But they still go fast. But I find the petition really good. And we don't want to leave that to the others. Our neighborhood seems to be coming to the long many stop signs we can get to prevent them from passing. And I agree with you, a little bit of mistake. Thank you very much.
Herman, I'm Carl Ackerman, and I live at 7110 Calumet. I lived there for 39 years. I've seen traffic going down Calumet several years ago. Petition to put in 2 four-way stops. We still drive Calumet for people who do not abide by the stop sign. I was out walking in the morning and they line through Hansford as if there was no stop sign. I can see one of them. It's the same way there. I would say probably at least 25% of the people never stop. We've got a lot of people that slow down, but I would sooner know that people are not going to stop on Waldorf if I was heading down Gainesville. And I would have somebody thinking that they were going to stop and then do not stop. So I'm very much against it. It is a traffic way. Brings people into the Belmar Nation, off of the interstate, and it also brings people from the Belmar Nation onto the interstate. There's a lot of people coming off the Colfer, especially from the north, that comes down and comes into Belmar through that way, and down further south to the southern part of that nation. So I'm definitely against it.
Thank you very much.
I'm Ernie McAdam, and city for working very long years. And that intersection is a fatal accident that we got private children around that intersection. And 2 of the trucks, and some
Anybody else want to address the issue? Come on up.
I'm Don Rank, live at 7130 Admiral Lake Trail. That's about 100 yards from the center section. And my biggest opposition to this is talking about slowing down traffic. The stop sign stops traffic. They slow it down. There's ways to slow it down, speed bumps or something like that. And even if they do stop, they get started again and take off. So it doesn't work. And the other opposition here is everybody's talking about getting run into and everything else. And I've been everybody, told everybody here, I've never seen anything. This is a really quiet intersection. And like this gentleman said, in 3 years, there's been 2 fingerprints done. October 2008 and one in June 2009. People running the stop sign, and to me that's actually stupidity. There isn't any sign that all you can pass is to stop. Somebody gets stupid. So what we're talking about here is somebody's trying to fix the problem. It's not there. It's not that I mean the section of it's a list, like I said, it's example of that.
Anyone else want to listen?
Steve Hayward, I live at 3510 Quality South there in the pocket. And just listening to this, I've seen this happen before. It's as if the issue here is over the stop sign. The issue here is over the traffic. And one of my frustrations is like we only have stop signs and speed bumps from people's use of traffic calming. We have a whole toolbox. Depending how you go, I ride my bike up this sun. I agree with the traffic speeds probably a little too high, but there are a lot of other ways that can be dealt with, and it was maybe disappointing to see start with additional traffic calming measures. There's a specific book listed in the Hunter Bike Plan that deals with that. I think it was like 34 days. And then you quite back. An example, Fulton Street, there are no stop signs, whatever you like to stripe the traffic was fast on. And since we striped it, it's a lot more organized, it's easier to see it by walking on. So my suggestion is, don't let it drop here as a four-way stop issue. Let's look at this as a traffic calming issue and pursue it further. I think the problem can be solved, and I think there are a lot of creative ways to do it.
Do we have any comments about this issue?
Yes. Taylor, I'm sorry, if you tell me again, we're north-south traffic on Walmart. We're in the intersections where we either have a stop sign and it's a two-way or four-way, or a yield sign within the study area, the 1,000 foot notice area.
Yeah. Walmart stops for Calumet. Northbound Walmart stops in South Florida. Northbound Walmart stops in South Florida.
South or north? I just want to see the street on the map.
South of Calumet.
No, northbound approaching the interstate stops for the South Florida.
Are there any yield signs along through there on Waldorf?
Yield is the helmet.
Not on Waldorf. So the cross streets have yields?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, what is your recommendation to the citizens services?
To the citizens.
One that come up to
Well, of course, our recommendation is against the four-way stop. I appreciate what Steve was saying, but all the other traffic calming measures that are outlined in the traffic system policy all have to be paid for by the city commission for the last several years has been very reluctant to approve speed humps. Speed humps also have to be paid for by the residents. So I don't go as far as stop. I don't understand.
Particular traffic studies that are out there in regards to striping or, say, words on painted on the street that says maintain your speed or slow down. So those devices, I don't know if you guys ever see one in Amarillo, but in the bigger cities. Those devices ever shown to be effective? Do you know offhand?
I don't know. I've not seen them. They're not paying attention to that.
How many minutes? Okay, there's nothing wrong there. We're going to go to the engineering study subdivision to driveway and parking maintenance. That's great.
We need to take some sort of action.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Well, let me ask, we'll have a little dialogue here before we take it up. I understand where the citizens are coming from that are for and against. My reservation is on stop signs is the ineffectiveness of them. But I also recognize the effectiveness of them. And I think our primary goal, as at least my view, when I was appointed as a traffic commissioner, is family safety. And as much as I'm against the neighborhoods like Oakland, where they put really four-way stops everywhere, and they stop every block, and it's ridiculous, I would make the case here to vote for this, put the stop sign up, just because of the lack of stop signs for such a long period. I would say, like, I mean, we all know how people can pick up speed. People don't stop on the road until they get all the way to the interstate. And unless someone can suggest otherwise, I would be in favor of this time installing a four-way stop. It's not something for the most part, I would agree with that. Sometimes it's not slow. But if someone could encourage me to go the other way, I'd love to hear any other ideas on the traffic commission or what you think about it. There is no opposition, and I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the stop sign at Gainesboro.
Do we have a second? For discussion?
We need a motion.
We need to make a motion to
We
this.
need a motion. Do something.
I would move that we deny the request for a four-way stop along the work in Gainesville.
We have a second.
Second.
All approved? All disapprove? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for listening, sir. I'm glad to report.
Mr. Gibbs, right?
Okay, now we talk about the revisions to the driveway and parking manual.
I have no more to say than what I said in the work session.
Okay.
You have the audience to speak.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm David S. Johnson. My residence is 810 South Avondale, 79106. I'm here in my capacity as a substitute for Greg Mitchell-Lutundo. Greg has horrible flu. He's actually been quarantined by his doctor, so he's doing us all a favor by just communicating with him. I am here. The first thing I want to say is being strongly in favor of red light cameras, being strongly in favor of strict speed limit enforcement. I thought I was very much in favor and on the side of improved traffic safety in Amarillo. And upon occasion, I'm Taylor's secret shopper when I'm stuck in an out-of-order red light, and I want to compliment him. Occasionally, he has answered the phone himself, and that's always been impressive to me. Our stance at Toot and Totem, and I would dare say representing most retailers in town, the question would be regarding the economic impact of real estate acquisition would be one of the primary thoughts, because this is a lot of data that I've not been exposed to previously. But in the retail world, in the real estate world, we grew up thinking that corner lots are worth more, and the market value always determines that yes, they are worth more. And it looks like that some of these dimensions on setbacks and distances between curb cuts looks like it kind of undermines the basic real estate principle in commercial real estate and in the retail environment. So if I may ask Taylor, could you give me a little background on how you all chose, selected some of these various distances? Because it was very nice to see how they compare to other markets in Texas.
Well, as you can see from the table, the distances that are used throughout the state vary widely. So really, it was just kind of take a look at it and decide what we know was best. Really arbitrary.
Then I would like to go on record as saying that Toot and Totem is a primary retailer in town, that we would ask for our more thorough study of these figures that are admittedly arbitrary.
So, Mr. Johnson, obviously you're sitting here by Mr. Mitchell. Is the standards that y'all have in there that you've read about now, are y'all opposed to those they have it now? You say you'd rather have a better idea of more studies to be done before we approve it, or is it something you can work with?
It's from our standpoint, it's extremely vague, and it looks like that there is not a decisive body of proof that this is going to reduce traffic incidents in Amarillo. And I realize there's got to be some accommodation made for our growth, our traffic volumes, but we severely question that these numbers are the ones to achieve that.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. As the numbers are not necessarily completely built strictly on science, they are based upon the review of the other cities, so they're not just strictly pulled from the air. Another thing we did look at as far as some of the dimensions also dealt with the speed and posted speed limits on the arterials, looking at sight distances, looking at stopping distances. That is where some of these numbers did come from, even though some of it may be arbitrary, it's not completely arbitrary. Once again, the primary focus here is to maintain accessibility, but also to increase the traffic safety and protect the traveling public, both on the streets and those that are on private property, both getting onto and off of that private property. We would be glad to take another look at that. In all honesty, talking with the other cities, we feel like that there's a lot of standards that are out there. This is an improvement from where we have been in the past. It is not as strict as some of the ones that are out there. And I think that we can do some more engineering study, but in all honesty, I doubt the numbers will change much.
Right.
I do have a question in regards to total. I know y'all have built some really nice stores around the city, and we have one instance here where you built one on Western Farmers, and the distance of the corner is 80 feet and some change.
Yes, and I have to ask Taylor on that. Do you all know, were we governed by TxDOT on that rather than the city?
On Western.
Western Farmers.
City.
Okay.
So, for instance, on that new store you built on Osage and 34th, are they in compliance with the new with the new standards? Would they be in compliance with the new ones on that one? Because it seems pretty short on the Osage side.
I don't know for sure, but I would doubt it.
So, in an instance like that, if he wanted an egress in there, or he would have to purchase more property going north to move the property back that way, if he were wanting interest there. But I'm also thinking on the 34th, he doesn't comply with the manual as it sets now. Do you know offhand if he would comply with that?
You'd have to comply with the way the manual reads now.
I'm sorry, about the new provisions.
Without seeing the site plan, we can't answer that definitely.
Yeah, one thing that's pretty unique about convenience stores as opposed to the other channels of drug, which was cited here with Walgreens and CVS, we have a massive forecourt of activity, gas pumps under the gas canopy, and the immediate access to those is vital, crucial to the public, because our goal is to be a convenience store, not an inconvenience store. So I think if we had no forecourt and we were only dealing with front door issues like the drug channel, I think this would make a lot more sense. But I see it putting some hardship on our guests.
Well, they took into consideration also your retail, your traffic, everything to make it convenient for your customers. That was one of the things that they did discuss earlier with us. We want to make it where it's friendly for y'all too. Thank you. Any other comments on that? Guess we can move on to the traffic engineering study on the speed limit of Coulter between 45th and something. We have to take action.
We need an action.
We have to have action. Let's have some action. Okay, so we have to...
Decline it, approve it, table it, do something.
Right, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve reductions on the driveway and parking manual?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
I'm sorry.
Can I, before we take a vote on that, maybe I'll ask you to withdraw your motion. Would there be any problem with staff's problem if we tabled it to look at more new properties that have been built that wouldn't comply with the new regulation in accordance with, I know we've talked about the back about flexibility and so forth, but my only reservation is how many new properties that have been new multi-million-dollar projects that have actually been built. It wouldn't comply with the current, not the current, but the new regulations. And if those projects would not have been built, could not have been built if we would have had these new regulations.
All of the new ones, though, do meet the standards, right?
Well, I don't think,
No, not the new standards.
I don't think a lot of properties in regards to the two homes, for instance, and they're not the only retailer in the world, would have the opportunity to comply with some of these regulations. I mean, I'm not saying I'm against them. I just would like to know more of the properties that wouldn't comply and what type of complexities and problems that could cause. I mean, when you're talking about a retailer, he's got to permit and he's got to buy another, 2,000 feet. It's not cheap. So if there's a motion, if you don't want to withdraw your second or table, then we can vote on it.
Do we have a second on Craig's?
Yeah, you need to withdraw your,
Yeah.
mediate your second or to withdraw the first motion.
Or we
Or if you want
Okay,
to
we
vote.
table. We just had a motion to table.
No, I will keep the motion as it stands.
On the motion
You
to
will keep
table.
it, so you have to
Okay.
vote on that.
Okay.
Greg's
We had a
motion
second.
and he defeated.
Right.
I didn't make the motion, I was just asking for withdrawal.
No, we had a motion. Okay.
My second stands.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Was there an intention on that? Did you abstain?
I didn't vote.
Yeah, okay, so.
I didn't oppose, I was wanting to table, so I'm going to oppose something that I'm not opposed to. I would want to table.
I just want to get clear for Judy, the vote,
Yes, you take it up.
the vote was 5-0.
Okay. Moving on to the speed limit on Culver between 45 and Hillside.
Okay. Traffic Engineering Department received a request from Dale Harper at 7100 Drake to consider reducing the speed limit on South Colter between 45th and Hillside. Mr. Harper stated that the speed limit seems high given the amount of traffic entering and exiting parking lots and streets in this area. Reducing speed limit on this section of Colter is 50 miles per hour. Traffic staff conducted a radar speed study on Colter. The study showed we do an 85th percentile speed of 46 miles per hour. This means that 85% of the drivers on Colter are driving at or below 46 miles per hour. The 85th percentile speed is the benchmark for speed limit establishment nationwide. To explain further, Texas Department of Transportation has a standard that says that you will do a speed study on a street and you consider the speed limit, change the speed limit, and you will take the 85th percentile speed and you can set your speed limit plus or minus 7 miles an hour from that. Get outside the lane. Generally, what we do is we try to do the 85th percentile speed study on the speed limit, as opposed to that 85th percentile speed if they can. As arterial, any street, particularly arterial, as we gain more and more traffic, as we get more and more development, sign, driving, the speeds naturally decrease. And notice, if you look at a speed map, all of our north-south and east-west arterials near the interstate are 40 to 45 miles an hour, and then as you get further away, they go up. And over the years, as those arterials have gone up, the development in traffic, we reduce the speed. And that's what's happening here. And we're side, 45 miles per hour.
The increase in it,
Decrease from 50 to 45. Questions?
any comments? All in favor? Okay. I want to make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Second?
Any opposed? It carries.
Thank you. We tried to list everything in this miscellaneous discussion that I thought we discussed. Although I wouldn't say I have comments or anything. Item A, the Emerald Traffic Signal Safety Program, for my chairman. You may have a question. Pedestrian crosswalks at signalized intersections. We're taking a look at version 26. There are stop bars at all four approaches at that intersection. Putting in crosswalks would be difficult because of the positioning of the ramps. Most of the ramps there are old, are placed well back in the intersection where the design. You have to move the stop bars back to the point where you're not reasonably expecting that to stop at that point. It just be very difficult to do at that particular location.
Taylor, are you saying, when you say ramps, are you talking about ADA ramps on the sidewalk?
ADA ramps.
Which are those fairly new ramps that are now in compliance with ADA standards?
Most of them are not. The Walgreens corner is, right, that is in compliance. The other three,
I'm not sure.
The other three corners are not.
If you want me to answer that question, we've had interactions with the Department of Justice concerning ADA ramps and concerning arterials. And the way that works is that if you had a ramp that was existing and it was installed in the current standard, then you are not required to rip it out and replace it with a new standard until you actually do something that, say, full reconstruction. And so what happens a lot of those locations where those ramps were existing and they were compliant with them when they were actually built, they may not meet the 2011 standard, they do meet the data construction compliance standard, so therefore they are okay. Now, if that building ever was, if that ramp was to be removed, then of course at that point we have to reconstruct that to the standard. So what we're basically saying is because of the location of that ramp, and it's so far back from the actual intersection, ADA does require that if we put in a crosswalk and restart that, but that must comply and must line up with that existing ramp. To do that and have that setback between the intersection, there's no car that's legitimately stopped that far back from the line. So we'll have people approaching the wrong crosswalk, and therefore it's going to cause a pedestrian to get into conflict. And at this point, until that ramp is reconstructed, it doesn't look like the crosswalk. If that helps to kind of clarify. Because the ADA issue has been a very complex issue. And several years ago, we were actually required by the Department of Justice to go back and install ramps where they did not exist. But if they did exist, and once again they were built in compliance with the date that they were built, we will have to leave them and someone does that meets that. Under the ADA regulations as they set down, if you have a current ramp that meets its current standard, yes, in the intersection of four-way intersection, does the law say that you have to have one of those striped?
No.
So none of them have to be striped?
They don't have to be striped. They just have to have accessibility to the street where the curb is not actually creating an obstruction, not allowing access. And that's why it's all called the accessibility. It's just an access provision. It does not regulate the control of the access in the list of non-stripes.
I've noticed that TxDOT did all the new seal coating, where we follow all the access roads on I-40. They've recently, in the last few days, noticed a lot of intersections that have gone striped. Yeah, that's been striped and new diamond striping also.
And once again, seal coating, as defined by the ADA, is not a reconstruction. It's a maintenance activity, so therefore that process does not require them to rip those out and to replace them. And so, in that situation, if they do this activity and they cover up the existing striping, they will go back and then replace it with a condition that there is no stripes on it.
That never goes to the been striped for that.
You're saying TxDOT intersections are now striped for pedestrians? Were they as they were before?
Right. Even before the seal coating, those were not, none of my recollection, none of those were striped for pedestrians.
Perhaps. I'm just thinking, perhaps there's some federal money involved with federal requirements in that area.
Well, TxDOT does have a project currently in place where they are actually installing ramps that have not been there in the past. A good example is at I-27 in Georgia. If you've been to that intersection recently, you probably saw there was a lot of construction going on. It was part of the ADA compliance, and that was the state's compliance with that federal requirement. So they're still doing the same thing we're doing. The timing is different because what happened is the Department of Justice, for whatever reason, they started with the letter A, so and so we were one of the first cities in the whole country that actually got approached about looking at us, doing an evaluation, finding where we were not in compliance, and giving us 3 years to come into compliance. And we worked very, very hard to do that, and that actually was finished in 2002. The reason I know is because it cost me about $4 million. Yes.
Questions or comments?
I would just make the comment that it's discouraging to me to visit other cities, small or larger than Amarillo, that put pedestrian usage and their safety issues at the forefront at these major intersections. It seems like our city leaders and staff have not been as eager to make those improvements to our roadways as some of these other cities have visited. Thank you.
Second one, master plan. The 2010 map is on the website for traffic insurance and traffic organization. 2010 map is also passed in a smaller format. Last traffic commission meeting, we will print one of those in the map board. So they're easier to use in the place of the traffic.
I'm sorry, I think I heard you say that the 2010 plan is up on the city's website.
It's on the city's website under both traffic engineering and metropolitan planning organization.
Okay.
And also have that, the map in its formal format. You can print it or you can do a map folder on it. So it's easier to read, easier to use, and
That's wonderful. I would suggest that such a printed map, it'd be good to get some other elements on that map. The bus routes would be good to have, particularly because I think the vast majority of the new buses do have bike racks on the front, and maybe one that doesn't have a bike rack on the front. But at any rate, to incorporate the bus routes along with that bike plan and think if the staff wanted the citizen input, there'd be no problem in getting a handful of people to help with maybe some other considerations for that map. Make sure that we've got perhaps some other there's some other city parks. I know the parks are on there, but maybe some destinations that may be of value to identify some of those perhaps commercial areas. I don't think the libraries are on there. I think that'd be something good to have on that map to make it more interactive with some of these destinations. Encourage the bike routes for transportation. And lastly, unless the city's done something in the last few days, I think the old plan is still on the Parks and Recreation website. It was late last week. So, not knowing about the new plan being on a different, on the traffic and TPO side, I went there first and it's still up. So it'd be good to cut that down. Okay. Thank you for both of those comments.
Future meetings. The next scheduled meeting is November 16th. We have 2 items on the agenda. There will be a meeting in there. December 21st, not 19th, the 21st. We will not have a meeting close to the holidays. Last month on the Traffic Commission agenda was Taylor Street, Southeast 13th and Southeast 15th Street, two-way. That is just on the city manager. It should be on the agenda in a couple of weeks. So it's moving forward. I've got tablets. First sheet is our response to Kelly Whitfield request commission last month. Encourage you to read that. The rest of the packet is what was furnished to the other agencies in the department. Like we make further inquiries, like information on the core situation, which we are doing, and also including. If you're interested in what I can,
I appreciate it.
Okay, last thing is citywide ban on texting while driving. The City Commission is interested in at least looking into this prohibition and this ban. We would like the Traffic Commission's input on this. So this is one of the things we discussed next month. I'd like your input to us as to what you want us to do, what kinds of things, information we can go into, both from traffic engineering and also the police department, enforcement issues with this. Something forward on the City Commission. So we will discuss it next month. We don't necessarily wait for next month to hold it on what you want, what you want, what kind of information you want. Consider
the City Commission is asking us to consider just texting, not the use of wireless communication devices, i.e. cell phones while driving.
Yes, they're interested in a citywide text. That's what they asked. So they're request is a little narrow at this point. So the thing that we'd like to find out from you, we can discuss this as a group. There's lots of things that we can do. We can look at pulling similar ordinances that may have been adopted citywide, statewide. We can ask the police department to come and prepare some type of response to this, talking about the enforcement ability or inability that they actually create. We can look at asking the city attorney to draft some basic ordinances. We can maybe like to look at and critique, and we can make some recommendations on either adoptions or changes. We can do all of those, part of those. So at this point, the request of the Track Commission is what would you like to see, what can we do to help you with this task?
I would like to see, just when you're stating, I'd like to see not just on statewide, but cities our size and larger participate actually ban. I'd like to see that their ordinances would apply. And then what has been the rate of increase or decrease of fines and/or accidents, and having that kind of data in a short period of time.
There are a few studies, if you want to get a study, I want to check into that because they did it before and after.
Michael, like I discussed earlier, I've got a lot of information from the Austin Police Department, and we have to share that with everyone here. As far as their texting, and they have a city live band, and so I have to get more information from their district attorney, and perhaps the police department here can also check with them as far as how well it's working, any citations to this issue. And I do have a copy of the Austin city ordinance on there.
That's great, Mr. Downey. If you present that to us, would you be glad to make copies and we'll try to distribute that to the full committee? We want to make sure everybody has everything. So the fact that you have part of our work done, thank you. Okay, appreciate you.
I'm interested in enforcement. How is it enforced? It's an application, right?
Any other directions that the growth list, we'll sure start with that. I wouldn't expect that we'll make a decision necessarily next time. We should start the process. It may be very straightforward, or maybe very money. It's kind of depends on what we find. So we'll just take one step at a time. That's okay.
We'll definitely have a
I would ask Madam Chair, Vice Chair, maybe for sure,
public forum.
Steve Hayward, pretty much in Carlton. I'm not sure at this point if it's to the commission or the staff, but anyway, I've got two items here. I would like the city to consider designating Fulton in front of Amarillo High as its school zone. It's not a school zone now, so I don't think it's the department. If you look at page 2, I took the picture today. You've got in-school zone signs as you approach Amarillo High, so it's confusing as a driver. You're approaching a school instead of a school. Anyway, it's not just Amarillo High. Puckett students especially have to cross the street to get to their school, and my daughter now is going to Crockett. She would use that intersection, Fulton Bell, to go to Crockett, and it's a difficult to take this now. The other issue is there was a city ordinance passed in 2006 dealing with driving in the bike lane. We have problems with people passing on the right of cars in the bike lane. Talked to Officer Miller about it. He told me as long as there's not a bicycle in the bike lane, it's okay. That is not how the ordinance is written. It says the bicycle does not have to be present, and the driver is either executing a turn or preserving the safety of another driver. So there has to be conditions met for a car driver to legally ride a bike. The dangerous aspect of it is, imagine if I'm a driver in the traffic lane and I motion for a kid to cross in front of me. This happens quite often. So the child's trusting me, I'm trusting that I'm stopped, and here comes a car in the bike lane. So it gets steps from the traffic lane into a bike lane and it's hit. So it's actually a pedestrian issue, not a bicycle issue. Gatewood and Fulton is a classic intersection where that happens a lot. You can cross there with my daughter a lot. There were several times we were almost hit. And it's not just motorists doing it. I've actually seen police officers passing. I've had a pass me when I stopped. So the ordinance is there. It's not like any action needs to be taken. I would just like to see some recommendation given to the city commission to instruct the police department to start enforcing this ordinance as it is written. Any questions for me? Okay, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Talk to the city staff. We need to do a study to designate school zone in the area. How does that work?
Staff knows that citizens are going to look at it.
Do you have any other comments? Any other comments from the commission? Need a motion to adjourn? All in favor, or anything want to say?